Hello, this is Christopher Ruspe. I'm the president of Applied Financial Wisdom. I've been a comprehensive financial planner for 32 years, and I'm recording these videos as a way to give something back to people who either don't have or probably won't need a financial planner. Have you been following the news on the hurricanes that are going on right now? We have 3 storms. I'm looking at a USA Today headline here. We have 3 storms going on at once. Boy, you really talk about double trouble. Hurricane Grace is forming. Fred is currently drenching the east part of the United States, and Henry is going up the coast and looks like it wants to hit New York or New England. I can tell you today we lost power here in my office while we were doing financial planning meetings, so it's really dumping a lot of rain here in Maryland. But I like to use events like this as a reminder to myself, since I'm always busy and I'm always trying to figure out what the most urgent thing is. I like to use events like this as a reminder for me and for my clients to address their catastrophic protections. So from a financial planning perspective, when we talk about catastrophe, we're talking about property insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, and finally long-term care insurance. And property insurance is probably the hot issue right now because, as you know, most real estate markets in the United States are really hot, and houses have been in bidding wars, which has driven up appraisers' values on houses. So in hot markets like that, your coverage can lag behind the value of your house. And then you can find out that when your house floods or burns down that you're not getting enough from the insurance company to replace it. So make sure you're checking your property coverage. Life insurance, I'm not going to get into too much today other than to say that life insurance is cheaper than it's ever been. This is because of the internet, and it's because people are living longer. And a lot of things that used to kill you don't kill you anymore, like cancer typically. They're usually treatable. So make sure you have your life insurance coverage reviewed. Remember, it's not just there to protect your current income. It's also can be used to generate retirement income and can also be used to pay your estate taxes, which if they continue to talk about letting the estate tax exclusion go back down to $1 million is a big deal. Disability insurance is actually the most under-owned insurance statistically. And then finally, long-term care insurance, which I'm not going to get into too much today. So those are some of the financial planning things that you should try to avoid procrastinating when it comes to disaster preparedness. And you can use the hurricane season as a way to kick yourself in the butt and make you take action on it. But there's a couple other practical things that you might want to do that I've learned the hard way. One is to always have a will in place. If you don't have a will, then the laws of your state are going to determine who and what inherits your money. And I don't know very many people who would trust the state or the federal government to do anything, let alone decide who's going to inherit their money. So if you have to and you don't have any other choice, go down to the local library, go to the research section, ask the librarian to give you the book of forms, get a will for the state you live in, copy it for 10 cents a page, fill your names in, and sign it in front of a notary. If nothing else, that's not as good as having a will drawn up by a lawyer, but it's better than nothing. Second thing is, after you have the will, make sure that you put it out there in the cloud. I would say to scan it in and send it to anybody who's a beneficiary, or if you can think that might be a problem, then send it to anybody who is an executor. Obviously, if you've put them on as an executor, you trust them enough, you should be able to make sure that that's out there in the cloud in case you have physical disaster like a tornado, which we had tornado warnings here in the middle part of Maryland today. Get a fireproof safe. Keep your legal documents in that. Don't keep them in a file cabinet. Now, a fireproof safe won't help you from a tornado, and it won't help you from a hurricane, but it will help you against a fire. And I've actually had a property burned down once. Consider getting a safe deposit box. If you get a safe deposit box, then the liability for the contents will at least be on the bank and not on you. Those sound terribly old-fashioned, but they can really come in handy during disasters. And the last thing, and it may not seem like a financial planner's purview, is consider keeping at least one landline in your house. If you work out of the house, it could be your business line. If you don't work out of the house, maybe you keep a wired home line. And the reason is that about maybe 10 years ago, we had a really weird storm here in Maryland with very high winds, and there was very little warning that that storm was going to hit. And we all lost power, and we lost power in the middle of the summer for a long period of time. And the first thing that people did is they hopped on their cell phones to check on their loved ones, which caused the towers to crash. So we had no cell phone reception for probably 3 days. Even though everything was normal, the towers themselves weren't destroyed, and it wasn't like we hadn't paid our cell bills, but it was just that there were too many people on for the capacity, from a capacity issue. So for that reason, I like to have at least one landline at my disposal. I know that sounds terribly old-fashioned, but for the price of a landline, maybe it's something you might want to consider. So those are just some tips for disaster preparedness. Don't wait. Do it while everything is fine. You don't, put in a sprinkler system after a fire starts. You don't write an evacuation plan after disaster strikes. You do it before. And September is Disaster Preparedness Month. So now's the time to do it, and don't procrastinate it. And use the hurricane season as a reminder that, hey, this is something you really do need to do. Send me an email if you'd like, and let me know what you'd like to see out of future topics. Right now, in our other video series, we're doing the basic building blocks of financial planning. And make sure that you subscribe or follow me on my website at appliedfinancialwisdom.com so that you don't miss any future content. That's appliedfinancialwisdom.com. And I do want to wish you a happy day, a healthy day, and a successful day until the next time we talk.